George Springer and Justin Turner continue to underperform. What do the Blue Jays do with their aging veterans? And who will step into the closer's role with Yimi Garcia's latest injury? Hey, everyone. Welcome into Long Ball. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Blue Jays writer Rob Longley. And Rob, the team feeling good right now after a series win over Cleveland, but some serious questions remain on the field right now. And we got to start with the key veteran players who have not lived up to expectations. And right at the top of the list is George Springer, who is in year 4 of his 6-year deal that he signed with the Blue Jays right before that 2021 season. And he currently has the 3rd worst OPS among qualified hitters and is hitting under the Mendoza line with a 196 batting average, Rob. It's not an easy situation here with Springer, but what can the Blue Jays do to maximize his impact on the club?
Boy, it's really, that's a really difficult question, isn't it, Rob? I mean, I don't think you walk away from the guy with a contract like that, and you certainly appreciate his defense. But I think we're almost beyond the point of hoping that he's suddenly going to find his offense again. Sure, he contributes the odd hit as he did over the weekend, but if you just watch his at bats closely, it's clear that his best days are behind him. The bat speed is lagging for sure. His ability to hit for power is virtually gone, and he used to be the kind of guy that he could hit for extra bases fairly regularly, and he very rarely does that now. When he gets on base, he's still a pretty good base runner and such. But to answer your question, I guess you just sort of continue to do what you do and bury him in the order, and just hope that he can contribute something or anything at this point, because the depth, as we've been talking about all season in manager John Schneider's lineup, is thin to begin with, and you certainly didn't expect your aging veteran or your veteran superstar, the highest paid player in the franchise, on a 6-year deal. And we've talked about this, Rob. You certainly didn't expect diminished returns this early in the deal, and we started to see signs of it last year. And there's been no pickup so far in 2024, and it's a very difficult situation for the Blue Jays. And you can tell they feel the same way by the way that they bury him down towards the bottom of the order just about every night.
Yeah, what's been unfortunate for the Blue Jays is they're getting the healthiest version of George Springer, but right now the least effective version of that player. Meanwhile, the big offseason signing for the Blue Jays, Justin Turner, had an incredible April, but since then, Rob has looked very much like a 39-year-old at the plate. What do you think the immediate future holds for Turner on this team?
It's not unlike what we're talking about with George Springer. It's, you sort of keep running him out there and hope that he can find something, but the broadcast on the weekend had a very revealing graphic to my mind anyway, Rob. And they showed that Justin Turner's swing speed is bat speed rather is the slowest in the major leagues. So opposing pitchers are just pumping fastballs by him, and he has no answer for it. And I found myself, I was watching the golf and the baseball, so I see this graphic about the slowest bat speed in the major leagues. And then you watch Bryson DeChambeau in the U.S. Open with the fastest swing speed on the PGA Tour, and it's just, the contrast is so stark. I think a lot of people thought with Justin Turner that after that big April that he would be able to contribute something. To call it a big signing, as we did in the offseason, it's all relative, because I don't know what kind of expectations you could have for a guy that age. You would hope that he would be a leader, and I think in certain ways he is, but it's very difficult for a guy to be a leader in the clubhouse if he isn't a leader on the field as well and contributing offensively. And, we're at the point now where Justin Turner isn't even contributing defensively, because we saw a couple of weeks back, and I think we talked about this already, Rob, that with Vlad Guerrero Jr. going over to third, it's essentially saying that Justin Turner isn't the guy over there. So, it's a 1-year deal, and they were hoping that he would be a spark offensively to this team, and it just hasn't panned out. And to have these two aging guys in the lineup being a liability, it speaks to the many challenges that the Blue Jays have offensively.
And we have seen some urgency of late here with the Blue Jays calling up the likes of Spencer Horwitz and Addison Barger as well. So they know that they need to do something soon here to turn their season around. Lastly, we saw Yimi Garcia leave Sunday's game with what the team is calling elbow soreness. Rob, if he is out and Jordan Romano is still recovering from elbow inflammation, who do you think steps into the closer role?
Are you available, Rob?
Got my glove. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I mean, we're getting to that point, aren't we? It's It's first of all, it was tough to see Yimi Garcia walk off the mound the way that he did there. Elbow injuries are weird because guys don't seem to be in a lot of pain, but pitchers know, when something's gone wrong, and everybody on the team knows it when something's gone wrong. We'll get updates later Monday on how serious it is, but you have to think it's minimum a few weeks before they get him back in the lineup. So what do you do? Is Chad Green the guy? Chad Green's a guy that they trust in late game situations, and for the most part, he's been decent this year. Do you look at Nate Pearson, who's been seems to be getting more time, more opportunities? Yes and no, because what we've seen a lot of with Nate Pearson is the inconsistency. We've seen the velocity there that's been part of his arsenal throughout his career, but we haven't seen the type of consistency that you'd like to have for a guy who's closing baseball games. So, I mean, you just try to piece it together at this point, I guess, Rob, because Garcia had sort of stepped into that role to fill in for Jordan Romano as he's recovered from his own elbow issues, and it's probably a couple of weeks before we see Romano back in games. So, yeah, pretty serious situation on a bullpen that's already been a borderline liability for this team too often already this season, and now with having their two quote unquote closers unavailable for an undetermined amount of time, that's not ideal, especially with a fairly stout schedule over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it does seem like we're going to get maybe the old closer by committee that
Yeah.
baseball teams like to do from time to time. But as you said, we should get some updates early in the week on the status of Yimi Garcia. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. You can find all of Rob's Blue Jays coverage at the Toronto Sun.